Please excuse the weird mustache. It's for my Halloween costume, and we've got another party to go to tonight, so I can't shave it off yet, and I'm not even going as Biggs. Anyway, the second trailer for Skeleton Crew just came out today and gave us more hints to the main story of the series and some decent screen time for Jude Law's character, Jod. I enjoyed the trailer and its sense of adventure, but this is gonna be an interesting series. It's leaning hard into the 80s kids on bike style movies, which we always knew it would, but quickly bouncing between Earth-like suburbs and more classic Star Wars locations in this trailer felt a little jarring, and the music choices seem like they're pushing against what we're used to hearing as well. I liked the synth music at the start, but hearing Major Tom in a Star Wars trailer felt strange, even if it was in Huttese. I doubt that'll be in the actual show, but it seems like a signal to the audience to prepare for a very specific version of Star Wars that we might not be used to seeing. But with my big picture thoughts out of the way, let's dive into the trailer breakdown. Things start with Wim and Fern, who look like they're in trouble at school waiting for the principal's office. Actually, the Arabesh sign says it's the proctor's office, which might have a more severe connotation that I'll speculate on a little later. Fern seems like she's the rebellious girl of the group, being called to the office for being reckless, and she's modified her school uniform with patches and stuff. Wim looks a little more straight-laced, but I'm guessing he wandered off school grounds where he finds the buried ship. The previous trailer showed him to be enamored with the tales of the Jedi, and he seems like the kid in the group who wants to seek out adventure and has his head in the clouds. He brings his friends to see the ship, and he is the one who presses the big green button that apparently launches it. Now is where things start to feel more familiar for Star Wars fans. It looks like the kids make their way to a pirate space station. There are a lot of ships with the same black and white livery we saw on Gorian Shard's ship in The Mandalorian, so this could be a hangout for that whole faction of pirates. There are a ton of cool looking aliens who perk up when Wim flashes an Old Republic credit, and when they say Old Republic, I think they mean Old Republic, not just Galactic Republic from the Clone Wars. I assume that's some gold he finds on the buried ship, which the LEGO set calls the Onyx Cinder. With its old droid first mate SM-33 still on board, I think it will be a very old pirate ship that's probably connected with some long-lost treasure, which would catch the attention of every pirate on that space station. Wim creates a distraction so he and Neil can escape, and you can see Vane from The Mandalorian standing nearby. The kids are helped by Jod, who offers to get them home, but I'm sure he sees or overhears enough to know about their ship and the treasure. I think his primary goal will be getting rich, and maybe he'll help the kids along the way, if it's convenient. But there's also another obstacle for the kids that was revealed in an article on StarWars.com. Nobody has heard of their homeworld. The series synopsis says, Skeleton Crew follows the journey of 4 kids who make a mysterious discovery on their seemingly safe home planet, then get lost in a strange and dangerous galaxy. Fans have speculated that they might get lost in the same galaxy as Peridia or something like that, but it might be that the strange galaxy is the one we are familiar with. Maybe they are all originally from a completely different galaxy. But I'll also say that the galaxy is a very big place. The kids might simply be from a lesser-known region of wild space or something like that. The first trailer showed that Wim knows stories about the Jedi, and there are Ithorians around, so I think this is the more likely option. Getting lost in a strange and dangerous galaxy probably just means they have never left home before, so everything is strange and dangerous to them. Reddit user Alcida Aka pointed out that the kids' school jackets have Tianese symbols on them, which is like the Star Wars version of the Greek alphabet, so maybe the kids are from the Tion cluster. More on that later. That StarWars.com article also specifies that the group of kids is made up of 2 sets of best friends, Wim and Neil, and Fern and KB. I like that they're not all besties at the start. They're gonna get to know one another and might have to find some common ground throughout the story. I could see Fern being especially annoyed with Wim early on. The second half of the trailer is when the Huttese version of Major Tom comes in, and it's very quickly edited, so I'm going to try to combine some things to talk about them all cohesively, and I want to start back on this mysterious new planet. We continue to follow Wim's father, as well as Carrie Condon's character, who StarWars.com says is Fern's mother. We also know from the first trailer that she is a teacher at the kids' school, or maybe she is the proctor. I said earlier, I think it's interesting that word is used instead of principal, because by definition, a proctor is someone who monitors students. We see a bunch of droids throughout the trailer, and I'm getting some vibes that the government is always watching. And I think the school is directly tied to the government because that StarWars.com article describes Fern as the daughter of someone in the government. We see Wim's father at work, and he looks nervous as a droid watches him, and we get a classic ET-style shot of imposing figures in the woods with their flashlights, but the imposing figures are those droids. Whatever this planet is, I think it's possible it's not as idyllic and peaceful as it seems on the surface. There's a little moment where Neil is given control of the Onyx Cinder to Wim's surprise. First, I want to point out that it has been officially confirmed that Neil is not an Ortolan like Max Rebo. But more importantly for the characters, Neil is said to be a loyal best friend to Wim. I could see him coming into his own a little more throughout the story. Maybe he isn't quite equal in his friendship with Wim. Like maybe Wim sees his friend as more of a sidekick, which is why he acts so shocked when Neil gets to fly the ship. Or maybe I'm reading way too much into this small comedic moment. The pirate crew seems like a lot of fun. I especially like the shot of them in space using grappling hooks. I think maybe they damage the Onyx Cinder as the kids try to escape the space station, so maybe they can only limp away to a nearby planet for repairs, allowing the pirates to chase them or something. There are also some shots of SM-33 fighting and doing very well for an apparently ancient droid. He punches this tiny droid thing that has like a little saw, and I'm kinda hoping that's basically like a classic pirate's parrot, something that hovers around Vane's shoulder to be annoying more than anything else. Whatever is going on, I think Jod and the kids will be racing the pirates to find the long-lost treasure. Their race takes them to some kind of fancy-looking world built into mountains with hot springs on top that looks really cool. X-Wings fly by, so it's likely under New Republic control. I'm expecting it to be a new world, and there's a shot of Jod warning the people there that a bunch of pirates are headed their way. Eventually, the kids, Jod, and SM-33 reach what I assume is the treasure after being warned of booby traps. That is very much my vibe. I love a good Indiana Jones-style treasure hunting adventure, and now I'm going to speculate wildly on whose treasure it might be. I'll admit that the most likely scenario is that it's some new pirate character we've never heard of, but this could also connect back to some old Han Solo books and even Solo: A Star Wars Story. Dryden Voss's office has a crystal skull in it that's often mistaken as the crystal skull from Indiana Jones, but it's actually the masthead of Zim the Despot, an ancient tyrant that first appeared in the book Han Solo and the Lost Legacy, which is about Han and Chewie racing to find a long-lost treasure. And Zim was Tianese, which possibly connects him to the kids' homeworld if they are in fact from the Tion cluster. The big skull in the treasure room reminded me of Zim, but it's not made of crystal, and skulls are so common in pirate stories, so I'm not saying that the treasure definitely belongs to Zim, but I am saying there's a chance. And that's the end of this second trailer. I think it's interesting they didn't show Jod's use of the Force this time around like they teased in the first trailer. I get the sense this trailer was meant to be more broadly focused on the story and adventure, leaving us to speculate and wonder about the characters and their specific arcs, which is fine by me. While I'm still a little thrown by the suburban world and the use of Major Tom, I do like the adventure elements a lot. Between the two trailers, we've seen the kids in lots of different situations on different worlds, which I think is great. That's something I appreciate about The Mandalorian, is that most of the episodes feel very distinct, bouncing around from planet to planet. The pirates will probably be a constant threat and through line, but I'm hopeful that Skeleton Crew will feel more like a show instead of a stretched out movie like Obi-Wan Kenobi or The Acolyte or lots of other Disney Plus series. This definitely looks like a fun time. I absolutely think Goonies in space is a genre that can work well in Star Wars. I feel like I'm in wait and see mode. I'm hopeful, but I'm not completely sold yet. I'm just not crazy about the suburbs and the more Earth-like elements, but like I said, I don't expect that to be a major part of the series, and if they do work in some creepy government is always watching storyline there, I think it'll make everything more interesting. But those are my thoughts on the new trailer. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel to keep up with all our Skeleton Crew coverage, follow us on our socials, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.